Welcome to Manufacturing Tech Australia with Shane Williams and Paul Mason.
I'm here with Bob from CoreAdditive. Bob, welcome to Manufacturing Tech Australia.
Yeah, thank you, Shane.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, pleasure.
Now, you guys are a reseller of 3D Systems products.
Absolutely.
I mean, certainly in my limited experience, the 3D Systems brand's been a bit quiet lately, but it sounds like you're a bit of a resurgence.
Well, they're a well-known brand because 3D Systems, a lot of people don't know that they actually invented 3D 40 years ago. So because of that, we sell a whole range of different type of products.
Yeah. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, absolutely. One of our very popular products is our jewellery machine.
Yeah.
So people who do wax casting for jewellery is a very popular machine.
Yeah.
One that's become more and more popular is a machine that can print this fella that's behind you here.
Yeah, right.
It can actually, in actual fact, print me, and it can print it in carbon fibre and nylon.
Yeah, right.
So more and more people are now going to the larger format machines.
Mm-hmm.
What they're finding though is when they go to the larger format machines, they're very, very costly to actually run.
Yep.
The nice part about this particular fella is that it prints from pellets. Therefore, the cost of running a machine is about 1/10 of the cost of normal filament machines.
What's the difference in terms of cost between pellet and filament?
Well, if you were to print, say, for example, this fella here,
Yeah.
that costs about $185 to print.
Yeah, right.
Now, if you were to print that in straight filament, it would be over $1,000.
Yeah, right.
That's the difference. So the pellet now is becoming far, far cheaper to run. So people, when they're moving into 3D, should really consider not only just the purchase price of the machine, but then the ongoing cost of the machine.
Yeah, right. And does that mean that you get more flexibility with the type of feedstock that you're using pellet?
Absolutely, and it's open source as well. So a lot of companies are out there just selling their own filament, their own material. This
Yeah.
one you can buy these pellets off anybody in Australia.
Yeah.
So that again makes it cheaper, and you're not tied to that manufacturer.
Yeah, which I think a lot of, I guess, manufacturing business owners would be like, you know what, I don't like being hinged to a particular product, right?
Yeah.
I don't have the diversity and I don't have the opportunity. So that's good. What's this sucker?
Well, again, that's out of the same machine.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are saying, well, I'm designing a lot of furniture and I'm doing a lot of different designs, but I don't want something that's going to cost me a fortune to do iterations or to do prototypes.
Yeah.
So they do a prototype and they get it exactly right before they go to full manufacture.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What are you seeing in terms of a migration away from sort of traditional reductive manufacturing to, I guess, 3D printing? What are the core use cases that are sort of shifting?
Well, I think the adoption of 3D printing in Australia hasn't been as strong as overseas.
Yeah.
The reality is that we don't have the population to support a lot of that, and we've got a lot of restrictions around medical, etc.
Yep.
So people are transitioning towards it now. I've been in the industry for about 12 years, and at the start people were printing dinosaur heads for school kids, but now they're printing end-use products.
Yeah, right.
Air conditioning companies printing ducts and things like that. You know, they're moving to full-blown production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I reckon there's a use case for, as you said, we don't have a big population, so it makes sometimes some of these investments that are a little bit tricky. But I get the sense that on the global stage, there's a whole bunch of opportunity for Australian smart people to do design R&D, and I think these things are a perfect example of how you can do rapid prototyping to get your product right.
Absolutely, we've got some fantastic designers here. Everyone talks about the car market going offshore, but Toyota, Holden, those companies still have designers in Australia.
Yeah.
They're doing designs, and that's only just one industry.
Yeah.
But there's multiple industries. There's people who buy this wax machine.
Yep.
The jewelers who are doing true production. The metal machines.
Yep.
They're just fantastic, and they're not moving away from CNC, but they're adding to their value of what they can offer the customer, which is mainly now a lot of short-run manufacturing. A lot of people are now moving also towards machines that can do multi-materials.
Yeah.
So rather than just buying a machine that can do a material, so we have a thing called the PSLA.
Yep.
SLA was was the first 3D printing technology.
Yep.
The PSLA is a projector-based and also the SLA technology combined, and they run about a dozen different materials, from your 300-degree materials through to your food grade materials and everything in between, all the production materials. So people are looking for more versatility, more bang for the buck, if you like, in what they purchase.
Yeah, right. And so just to bring it back to the evolution of the industry, as you said, 3D Systems started it, if you want to call it that.
Yep.
There's another bunch of other players that popped up since over the last 40 odd years or however long it's been.
Sure have.
Why 3D Systems and why CoreAdditive?
One of the things that people fail to grasp, I think, when they buy a machine is how many technicians do you have to service a machine?
Yeah.
Now, we've seen a lot of competition from overseas, different nations, but what we're finding, though, is we're finding that they don't have the people on the ground.
Yeah.
Sure, it's a great price. Gee whiz, it's half the price of what 3D Systems are offering, but do they have the backup service where there's technicians on the ground in Australia that can service it? Because what you do is you buy a 3D machine and then you start to rely on it. The last thing you want to do is find out that when you ring, they say, I'm terribly sorry, our only technician is in Singapore and he'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That backup service really does 3D Systems full credit in that they not only sell it, but they service it and they carry all the parts and they carry all the materials in Australia.
Yeah. And are they one of the only ones who's letting you be agnostic with your feedstocks?
Well, there's only certain machines where they're agnostic. A lot of it still is, for example, the wax machine. There's so many different materials on the market that when you go out, if you do buy some materials, they're not as good as they are from the original manufacturer, and that causes problems with the machines. So, for example, we mentioned the wax machine. The wax machine, you can only buy the wax from 3D Systems. However, the big machine that can do the carbon fibre and the nylons and 60, 70 different pellets, that is an agnostic machine because it's a big machine and people are wanting to be able to go out and source their material from anyone.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about CoreAdditive.
Yeah, well, look, CoreAdditive, the national distributor for 3D Systems, been very successful with that partnership for them. They sell a whole range of product. Even though their head office is in Western Australia, they are a national organisation. I'm based in Sydney. You have people in Brisbane. Very, very good company, great service. That's why I'm with them.
Awesome. Mate, Bob, it's been amazing to have you on the show. Thanks very much for your time.
Good on you. Thanks, Shane.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to Manufacturing Tech Australia with Shane and Paul, recorded on the traditional lands of the Bunurong and Wurundjeri people. For more information, jump on the manufacturingtech.au website. Remember to hit the follow button to join us again next time as we continue to explore the intersection of manufacturing and technology.